Behind me are England's two highest mountains, but I bet 99% of you are mispronouncing their names. If I was to ask people what are the names of the two highest mountains in England, the vast majority of people would say Scafell Pike and Scafell, but they would in fact be incorrect. It's actually pronounced Scafell. Now, I know many of you will be thinking, well, wait a second, you spell Scafell or Scafell, S-C-A, and therefore you'll pronounce it Scar, not Score. But there are actually lots of place names in Britain that we pronounce differently to how they're spelt. So for example, take one of the major towns here in the Lake District, Keswick. Keswick has a silent W in it. If you were to pronounce Keswick as it is written, you would say Keswick. In fact, many foreigners, particularly Americans, do make that mistake, but it's Keswick, not Keswick. Or take, for example, the river that runs through Keswick. If you were to pronounce it as it's spelled, you would say the river Greta. It is in fact the river Greta. And there's a village not far away in West Cumbria which is called Trepenna, but actually it's spelt Torpenhow. So if you didn't know and you looked at that village on the map or came across it, you'd say, well, this is Torpenhow, but it's not, it's pronounced Trepenna. And it's not just in Cumbria that we find this throughout the country. I used to live in the West Midlands in a town called Walsall, and in Walsall there's a part of the town which, if you were to look at the name on a map, you would say it's called Culdmore, but it's actually locally known as Carmer. Now, why? I have no idea. So the fact that Scafell Pike is maybe spelt differently to how you pronounce it isn't an issue at all. We have lots of names like that. So you may ask the question, well, why is it pronounced Scafell, not Scafell? And one of the reasons is that it used to be spelt differently in the old maps. It used to be spelt S-C-A-W, score. And they dropped that W for some reason. Now, there is actually a road very close to where I live called Scafell Road, and it has the original spelling, that S-C-A-W. But also, don't just take my word for it, Google how to pronounce Scafell, and you will find that Google gives you the correct pronunciation, the one I'm saying is correct.
Scafell.
But if that doesn't convince you, then listen to how Joss Naylor pronounces the name of England's highest mountain. Joss Naylor was born here in Wasdale and he lived most of his life in Wasdale. He was a local farmer and later on in life became a fell runner and became very famous because of his achievements as a fell runner, local celebrity, and very sadly Joss died not that long ago. But listen to how Joss describes or calls England's highest mountain.
I'm Joss Naylor. I've lived in this valley now for nearly 78 years. I was born at Wasdale Head in a place called Middle Row. Scafell Pike, it's unique in its own manner really. It's more or less just a heap of stones, but it's a unique heap of stones. It's the highest mountain in England.
And last but not least, listen to the local mountain rescue team. These are local residents who volunteer their time to go onto the mountains whenever anyone is in difficulty, when anyone needs rescuing. Listen to how they call Scafell.
The Scafell range in the background is our core operating area.
On a good day, like today, I can look up the valley and see Scafell and Scafell Pike and Lingmell and Great End and Buckbarrow and Great Gable, and I am so lucky.
And wonderful names, aren't they?
Yeah.
Not that we would recognise them all, perhaps maybe just that one, Scafell Pike.
Yes, two separate mountains, Scafell and Scafell Pike, with a big gap in the middle.
If you have been mispronouncing Scafell, you are of course not alone. Many people get it wrong, and it's not helped by the fact that the media mispronounce the name as well. And also there are lots of people in Cumbria who also don't call it by its proper name. But I do hope that this video has encouraged you and educated you so that you know that it's not Scafell or Scafell Pike, it is Scafell. So please, next time you come to the Lake District, next time you climb Scafell Pike or Scafell, enjoy the walk, enjoy the landscape, but also educate people on how to pronounce the name of two of England's highest mountains correctly.